Hi everyone, to me, Brent Graham of goodforthegame.co.za. It's a greatest weekend of the year, no doubt about it. The start of the Tour de France, the Durban July, and of course we've got plenty of test match rugby to look forward to, including the British and Irish Lions playing against the Waratahs, that of course in Australia. Right, let's get into the cycling though, and we are going to be posting previews on each stage, and they're going to be on the Good for the Game Extra channel, which is where you're watching this now. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, do so. We ran into a few problems with some of our rugby content, I must say, very surprisingly, but I just don't want to risk having the whole channel taken down. So we're going to be doing it on this channel for now. Let's move on then to the outright betting. Have a quick look at that. Bookies are pricing this as pretty much a two-horse race, with one of the horses a fairly strong favourite compared to the other. Yet we got Pogačar. He's around the 7-20 mark to win the Tour de France. Now, I've been watching Tour de France for many, many years, as most of you will know. There's no ways, no matter how good a cyclist is, that I'm taking 7-20 in a 3-week race like this. There's just too much that can happen. He certainly is in excellent form this year, looks better than ever, and he rides up against his bitter rival, Jonas Vingegaard, who has this year got no injury concerns and should come in hot and ready to challenge for the title. He's priced at 9-4. Evenepoel looks destined to struggle against these two. He's 11-1. João Almeida, teammate, of course, of Pogačar. He's 18s. Primož Roglič, 35 years old now. Can the old boy pull a good one out? He's never won the Tour, of course. And one of the big problems with Primož is staying upright on the bike. He is very accident prone. His teammate, Florian Lipovic's been doing some great riding of late. He's a 33-1. And teammate of Vingegaard, Matej Jorgensen, he's 66-1. You can get 80-1 and better the balance. Right, let's have a look at the points classification. It's a very tricky points classification contest. Of course, the green jersey this year, in my opinion. We've got Jonathan Milan of the Lidl Trackside team. He's 18-10. Jasper Philipsen, 33-10. He's, of course, teammates with Mathieu van der Poel, who you see there at 7-1. Wout van Aert, he's 5-1. Now, Wout has said, I'm not riding for the green jersey. I won't be competing in some of the flat stages. I will be targeting some of the other stages, but he's very much there for Vingegaard. But I don't know what to believe there. I do believe he's there for Vingegaard, let's put it that way. But, you know, and we look at the bottom there, we got flat stages, quite a lot of them, which are worth 50 points and 30 for second. And then you got the hilly finishes, which are 30 for first. And the mountain stages, only 20 for first. But look at that. Third on a mountain stage gets you 15 points. Third on a flat stage gets you only 20. So, you know, not a big discrepancy there. But obviously, this is very much still geared up for the sprinter who can win 3 or 4 stages. Is going to be very hard to beat here with the points on offer. But the problem is, I've had a good look at the stages. There's very few straightforward sprinting stages, probably 4 or 5. And then there's no guarantee, of course, that, for example, Milan will win each of those. There's going to be lots of competition for that. But there's plenty of other stages as well, where a guy like Wout van Aert, if he is riding for the stage, or even Mathieu van der Poel, can score big points and others won't. Looking down the bottom of the page, we've got the intermediate sprints. Of course, those are very important. This year, though, there's very few stages where a guy like Van Aert or any of the stronger riders, even Biniam Girmay, who, of course, defends his title here, there's very few stages where you can sort of get in a breakaway and hoover up the points because they're on the other side of a climb, which the sprinters can't get over. So we're looking more at the finishes here, and I'll share my bets at the end here, but it's very, very tough to call, I must say, because there is not going to be, there's going to be a few straight flat finishes, but quite a few of these other flat stages are far from flat and carry some pretty big points in them. Right, let's have a look here. I'm going to touch on this slide a few times in this quick outright preview, but I want to jump straight to slide 21, or to stage 21, bottom right-hand corner of the slide as you see it. This is the Champs-Élysées stage. And if you haven't been following closely, you won't know that we are finishing on the Champs-Élysées, but this is not the traditional Champs-Élysées finish. Have a look at this. 3 Cat 4 climbs in the towards the end of the stage. We've got 1.1 kilometers at 5.9%, climbed 3 times. The last time, only a few kilometers away from the finish. So this is by no means a straightforward sprint finish, and it's going to be a very, very different Champs-Élysées stage to what we're used to. I'm pointing that out because that is obviously going to have some impact on things like the green jersey as well. In fact, if the green jersey is close, we could have a thrilling conclusion to that one. Right, King of the Mountains. I actually did a preview for World Sports Betting on the site, and Tadej Pogačar yesterday, this time, was trading at around the 22, 23 to 10 mark. Look at that. He's under 14 to 10 now. So about 27 to 20 to win of the King of the Mountains. You got Vingegaard there trading at, 15 to 2. and then you go 9-1 and better the field. Very, very tough to pick a winner at this stage. I must say, I was on Pogačar at just over 2-1. And I'll go back to that slide now with the stages and explain why. But just quickly looking at the points, we've just got one double, a mountaintop finish where we have double points. That's on the Col de la Luz, 40 points there. And that's on stage 18. I'm going to show you that stage in just a few seconds. Then we got out of category climbs. Of course, you can get 20, and it goes all the way down to a Cat 4 climb where you just get 1 point. Let's have a look again at stages 16. That's Mont Ventoux. That's obviously going to be crucial. The reason for bringing this up is just showing you how hard the end of the race is. So we've got stage 18, which has got 2 out of category climbs, and then the big 40-pointer up here. And stage 19 has got 2 out of category climbs as well, including finishing on one and a few other climbs thrown in. The reason I'm showing you this, it shows you why Pogačar is favourite for King of the Mountains, because almost no matter what anyone does beyond this point, if Pogačar had to win stage 18 and 19, for example, it would be very hard to see him not getting the King of the Mountains jersey. So that is why he's favourite there, although at current prices, I won't really be jumping in. I'm also, having a look at this and saying it's not going to be an easy final week for the sprinters. And there's not going to be many green jersey points opportunities there for them. Let's have a look at some of the other markets on offer. The young rider, Remco Evenepoel, he's 6-10 favourite here. I wouldn't be backing him with your money. He's a great cyclist, but I don't know. He's just, he can be a little bit erratic sometimes. And I've just got a feeling that he's not going to have the greatest tour. Let's see. I hope I'm wrong because I really like him, but I wouldn't be taking him at 6-10. Lipovic is certainly a runner there, 22-10. Further down, Shkel Moser, I don't know what kind of, he seems to be riding himself to some sort of form. He's certainly got a team that's come here for the sprints and not for the climbs. But if he can hang in there, he might be worth an interest at about the 16-1 mark there for that young rider classification. And in the team classification, well, we got a 2-horse race here according to the bookies, and it is very hard to argue with them. We got Emirates here at even money, 12-10 Visma. You can get 9-1 and better the balance. And it really is hard to see any other team competing. And once again, I'm going to go to these stages. When it gets to stage 18 and 19, if the GC battle is on, we're not going to get breakaways winning these stages, which means it's the GC teams. And halfway up the final climb, you're going to find 5 Emirates riders and 4 Visma or something like that. And even if they slow down a lot towards the end, they're still going to gain plenty of time. I just don't see any other team. I was looking, believe me, I was looking to try and beat these two teams, but I just don't see any other team winning the team classification. I'm not going to get involved in there at this point. Let's move on, though, to stage 1, which, of course, starts on Saturday, the 5th of July. Quick word out here to World Sports Betting. They got a nice refund for up to second place on a stage finish, up to 5,000 Rand. That used to only be 1,000, if I recall. So they've upped that, or maybe it was 2,000, but they've upped that now. There are terms and conditions. It comes back to you in the form of free bets. But what that means is, take stage 18, for example, if we know we got a GC battle and everyone's still in the race, and it's going to be Pogačar v Vingegaard for the stage, you could pick one of them, back them, and if they do get beaten by the other, you can get your money back in free bets. So a really, really good promo, this, particularly on stages where we've got a firm favourite, almost like a guaranteed bunch sprint or guaranteed general classification finish on the mountains. So bear that in mind as we work our way through this Tour de France. Betting on stage 1, 14-10, Tim Merlier, 2-1, Jonathan Milan, the green jersey favourite. Jasper Philipsen, he's sitting there at 9-2, and you get 16-1 and better the balance. Let's have a look at the profile. Well, no doubt about it, this should be a sprint finish. It's pretty fat. We've got 3 tiny Cat 4s coming in. That's, of course, to make sure we have a polka dot jersey, King of the Mountains, at the end of the stage. We've got the sprint, the intermediate sprint of the 87 Ks. I'd imagine a small breakaway will get away. We have had things in recent years where sometimes the break hasn't even gone. No one's really wanted to go out there because they know they're going to get chased down. This is stage 1 of the Tour de France. Is yellow jerseys up for grabs. And I'm pretty sure we will at least have a break of 3 or 4 riders from the smaller teams that will go out in front. And I don't see them. The old days we used to get breaks getting 8-9 minutes, and that appear to have gone. And you're probably going to see them kept on a leash, maybe a 3-4 minute maximum advantage. And then, of course, the racing is going to really start in the second half of the stage. One thing to mention now, I've seen reports, there is quite a bit of a sort of a tailwind, crosswind coming into the final part of the stage. So between the sort of 25 kilometer and 50 kilometer mark, there's quite a wide open stretch. There is a chance of crosswinds. And what that means is that the field are going to be very nervous. Let's hope everyone stays upright. But things could get quite exciting, and you might find 1 or 2 casualties. I'd be surprised if too many GC men, are put into difficulty there. But you never know. Even 1 or 2 of the fancied sprinters could battle there. So just something to be aware of. This may not be quite as straightforward a sprint finish. I definitely think we're in for a sprint, but it might not be quite the full peloton coming in together. As you can see, nothing particularly scary at the end there. A little bit of technicality in the final lead up, but it's not a particularly dangerous finish, and certainly we got quite a long straight to end. Right, let's get into my bets for the day. I'm going to start with the outright bets. 1 unit, Pogačar first, Roglic second. This is known as the straight forecast. They got to finish in that order. Pogačar to win, Roglic to second. That is 20-1. I quite like that price. Quite fancy it. Matchups. This is now over the 3 weeks. Roglic to beat Evenepoel at 16-10. I think that's a good bet. I first saw it on the Good for the Game forum where the van posted it. I'll put a link down below to the forum thread if you want to see what other punters, particularly myself and the van, who tend to be the most common punters there for cycling. If you want to see what we fancy over and above the videos, you can go there. We got the green jersey. Gourmet. I don't know. I've been thinking about this green jersey a lot. He's obviously the defending champion. If he comes here with good legs, then he is a very big runner, 10-1, because he's quite capable of winning stages and top 3 finishes against the sprinters. And he's also capable of scoring points on some of those stages where the other sprinters don't. I'm just not 100% convinced of his form, though. But if he does, he's got a team that will work for him, and he must have a good chance of defending his title. Wout van Aert, like I said up front, has already said he's not sprinting. But if I just look at this terrain, the first stage, okay, maybe he doesn't sprint. But with crosswinds blow, you never know, he might go in. And you'll see just below, I'm actually having a small nibble on him to win the stage. Because if there is a bit of chaos in the last 20, Van Aert's the sort of strong rider could be there. And all of a sudden, plans could change. Smaller group comes to the finish and Van Aert might sprint for it. But look, that is a long shot. But as far as the green jersey goes, there's a number of stages that could go the way of some of the stronger sprinters like Van Aert. And he might just find himself after 8 or 9 stages in contention, or all of a sudden he may well start targeting the jersey. I'm not to say he's by any means a good thing at 5-1. The green jersey looks incredibly tough, but that's where I'm putting my money. Yes, on the stage itself, I'm going to take Van Aert there at 25-1. Not overly common. I was actually going to call a no bet, and I thought, Brent, you can't do a video and call a no bet at the end of the stage. So I'm having a small nibble there on Van Aert. It would obviously be great for the green jersey bet if he did somehow get involved, although I must stress that he has stated he won't be getting involved in those sprint finishes. Who knows? He could be bluffing. Thanks, everyone. Anyway, a reminder to subscribe to the new channel, if I want to call it that, to make sure you get notified. Hit the bell, and you'll get notified of all Tour de France previews. I was umming and ahhing whether to do these videos, but I got quite a few messages from people who watched in past years say, when are they starting? And that inspired me to get up and get back on the horse, and looking very, very forward to this Tour de France. I must say, I'm in Spoil Sports. We got brilliant prices from them. They unfortunately closed down in South Africa. No more 130-1 winners this year, I don't think. Enjoy the opening stage. Enjoy all of the great sport on Saturday. And we'll see you late Saturday night or early Sunday morning for the Stage 2 betting preview.